I love about the end of the year is that it's a little bit more relaxed and we get to do these kind of countdown and collection videos. Last week, I did everything that Natasha Denona had released in 2024, and then I asked for your suggestions, and most of you said Chanel. I hesitated because getting together all the Chanel releases of 2024, especially because this was the year that they started doing monthly releases, I thought, I don't know if I can face it, but I did it. It took hours, but I did it. I am triumphant. And today, on Not Fit for Print Beauty, we are going to look at pretty much every single release that Chanel Beauty had in 2024 with me, Rebecca. I am a fashion and beauty editor who has spent well over 20 years in the trenches with some of the biggest names in the industry, writing, interviewing, observing, and I have brought Not Fit for Print Beauty here so that you can have a sort of beauty magazine that you can look through every day or so here on YouTube. Okay, well, it is not as relaxed of a December as I would like, because we do have a lot of new releases coming up. Tom Ford is coming soon. It was supposed to be here to me today. Instead, it's going to be here to me tomorrow. That was supposed to be the video you're seeing now, but shipping and, you know, it's last minute holiday stuff, so it takes a while. We also have new Chantecaille that is on its way to me, and a bunch of other new stuff. Makeup by Mario, Natasha Denona, lots of new videos coming already. You know, there's no rest for the wicked, and I'm definitely the wicked. I also have our results for our Best of Community Awards. We had so many entries. I hope that Google form made it easier, and I am compiling those as we speak, and that video is coming next week probably. Also, really exciting stuff. Okay, let's get started. I am going to go month by month, everything that Chanel Beauty released. And when I say everything, I mean every category. I didn't buy every shade because I bought all of these. I don't get Chanel PR, don't I wish one day, huh? But I bought it, so I didn't buy every shade, you know, but this is basically the categories and groups, okay? And we're going to start with January of 2024. This might have snuck in the very last day or so of December, but we're calling it a January release. This was the Chanel Eclat de Nuit eyeshadow, 388. Do you guys remember this one? This was a good, you know, kind of New Year's Eve shades. That's why I said it might have snuck in the end of December 2023, but I reviewed it in January, so I'm going by that. You remember these really pretty shades? Do you guys remember that? It had a kind of a dark black and a, you know, really pretty shades there. I'm going to run out of space. It's a really pretty look and really perfect for New Year. So I don't know if you guys remember that or got that. Now, what I'm going to do with these, I will link them below. And where I can, I'll link them up here on YouTube Shopping as well. A lot of people like that, get to it really easily. The only problem is that some of these releases we're looking at here are very limited edition, but I will link what I can get. I don't link to things like Mercari or you know, eBay or anything like that, but some of these you can find on there. Okay, well, that was January, maybe late December. That might be cheating a little bit. But when we got to February, that was when Spring Chanel Beauty was released, which is really funny because Spring was already released in December. The next Spring is actually on this list because it was released in December. But Spring 2024 was released in February this time, and it had a bunch of releases. So we had Les Four Ombres. We had them in Rivage, remember this? And in Coral Treasure. Here we go. Rivage and Coral Treasure. I'm holding the little brushes in there. Rivage, Coral Treasure. Now, I'm not swatching and doing a ton with these because all of them were reviewed individually, and I'll make a little playlist for the end of this video so that you can see like all of my Chanel reviews in one spot afterwards. So that way we're not going to swatch them all and stuff, or this would be the longest video known to man because Chanel is very prolific. But we had those eyeshadow. We had the Duo Powder Blush. So this was the Roses Coquillage Powder Blush, which had 2 shades of powder blush, and then I just mixed all the time when I used it. Do you remember this one? I kind of like this as a little bit of a walk down memory lane. And then there were 2 products that I bet you're going to remember when I mention them in February, and that was the Lumiere de l'Ocean highlighter, the ocean highlighter, which was extremely sparkly. Remember this one? And it went along with the Baum Essentiel in Mermaid Glow, which was a bit of a glitter balm. Here it is. Doesn't look too bad, but then when you actually apply it, it was very glittery and very kind of, very mermaidy. So that was a really glittery collection. It was their spring, and people were very mixed on it. I remember last February, it seems forever ago, but that was a release. In March, we had two beautiful lipsticks that I really liked because they almost looked cartoonish to me. Do you remember the lipsticks that were released in this white case? I'm dirtying it with my hands now. That had the black lines. It almost looked like a little cartoon drawing. Do you remember these? They still were like Chanel where you pressed them and pulled them out. And I got the shade 4 and the shade 7. I didn't buy every shade. This was shade 7. And I also got shade 4. Again, these have full reviews, and I'll link a little thing of that. But 4, so I got a really dark one. That was 4 and 7. And there were just many, many, many of these released. But what I remember the most about these from March of 2024 were these beautiful cases. These white cases with the black outlines. They just really looked kind of graphic and beautiful. All right, that takes us to April, and we know that Chanel, they've capitalized on a good thing. They have realized that we really like their beauty brand, and so they've started to really ramp it up and release stuff every month. Because the brand is releasing things every month, it can be a little bit more hit and miss than it's been because each release is not all-encompassing. So they can kind of go with a theme. They can go glittery. They can go, because the next month they're coming out with something else. So in April, there's a big jump on some of these months. But in April, we got quite a few Ombre Essentielle monochromatic singles. I bought a bunch of them. I didn't buy all of them. But I bought the Brune Fauve. I bought the Brune Talpa. Do you guys remember these? I don't know if I bought all of them. I don't think I did. I remember I got the Jade Facette. That's the jade. And I remember I bought the pearl. Oh, there's the Brune Talpa. Here's the pearl. That was really pretty. That pearl was kind of pink. And again, these were all reviewed. In this release, there was also lots of colored mascara, which is never quite my favorite, but I picked up the Lilac. That was a little bit of a, kind of a violet mascara, really pretty. I'm not a real colored mascara person, but I thought I'd give it a try. And I admit to you, I've never used it, but there were a few of those shades in with this collection. And the biggest hit of this collection, the absolute biggest hit of this collection, if you recall, was it was summer. So it was leading to summer. So it was the Summer 2024 Healthy Glow Sun-Kissed Powder. And I got medium rose gold. And remember, this was the one that had the 3 different shades that you could blush with, that you could kind of highlight with, but mostly blush and bronze with. And there were different shades of that, but I picked up the medium, if you remember that. That's going all the way back to April 2024 with Chanel. All right, after I went on and on and on about how they were releasing things monthly, there was actually a little bit of a gap until summer. And in July, we got hit with a bunch of different releases. The first thing we got in July, Baum Essentiel. This one came in quite a few shades. I got Solar Glow, which I was really happy with, but they actually gave me the wrong shade at my Chanel boutique, but it was a happy accident. I was not upset with them. I would never be upset with them anyway, but I remember they gave me this one, and in the video, I'm quite surprised how much I actually like it, and it was the right shade for me, actually. There were also a bunch of the Stylos that were released, and I picked up this green, the really pretty pink. There was kind of a beige. I picked up the lavenderish purple, and people are really devoted to these. This is not an eyeliner that really stays and lasts a long time on me, but they are really pretty to play with, and I use them in the waterline and to tightline with, and those of you that are fans of these, a lot of these were limited edition. But the biggest part of that summer 2024 release in July were the Imaginary Garden Blush and Highlight Duos. Here are 2 of them right here. We had the little pinks and we had oranges. Oranges. And that was the biggest hit. If you recall, not too long after Chanel released those, then Dior released their version of it, which was equally as nice, to be totally honest with you. But it was kind of a blush highlight double release. We got one from Chanel and one from Dior, and both were very popular and both were very, very good. Chanel, of course, includes their own brush. July also had a very interesting limited edition release. Do you remember the makeup takeaways? There was like a nature kind of orange themed one and then a city green. The city green had the green eyeshadow. The orange had, there's like an orange, one of their dual-ended lip products. We had a kind of a very interesting hot pink liquid liner. Do you remember these? And a nail polish. Chanel nail polish is really, really good. I use dip or gel, so I don't always, just use a regular polish, but this is such a pretty one. Chanel's always made beautiful nail polishes, and so nail polishes were a part of that. And those were limited edition, and they were really interesting shades. The only issue with it was a lot of people didn't want to spend the money and have to buy all of it. They wanted to be able to pick and choose, and that's not the way those were sold. But that was also in July. Then we went to August. We had some good releases in August. August was one of the best releases, I think, for Chanel all year. Those were those cream to powder blushes, and I picked up 3 and I used the heck out of them. I picked up the beige shade. I reviewed these, and I have so many videos where I'm just wearing them. I'm still wearing them. I picked up the Rose Radiant, and then my absolute favorite that I wear literally almost every day, I would say 3 days a week, is the Grenat Profonde. And when I do wear this, you guys always go, what's that? What are you wearing? It's just so pretty on. It's very red. And I had somebody in one of the videos say they're so sick of these red blushes that you can't wear. And I get it, but once you really rub it in, bad day to wear a long sweatshirt, huh? Once you really rub it in, it's so pretty. You can't really tell if it's pink or red, and I think it just adds the right amount of flush. That is a really, really pretty product. That was such a good release for them. That was in August of 2024, and I really think it was one of the best releases from Chanel. Okay, now we get into September, and fall came around, and we had a few different things. We had the tarot blushes. Do you remember these? These were the blushes. Here is the lavender, and then I also have the blood orange. These were the blushes that actually had the tarot card imprints on them. Do you remember this collection? That was their fall winter collection. It was released in September of 2024, and it had those kind of matte blushes, which mine have worn off, but that was the imprint on them. It also had a liquid velvet Rouge Allure. I picked it up in Secret, and I really like the shade. Let me show you it. That was the liquid lipstick from Chanel, and it was a really pretty one. Running out of space. That was a pretty one. Really easy to wear and kind of a Your Lips, but better for my coloring. And then, of course, we also had 2 different eyeshadow palettes. Divination and Initiation. Divination, right here. Had those purples and green. Remember this one? I haven't really used these. And Initiation, I admit, I haven't really used these very much, but they're very pretty eyeshadow palettes. And that was the fall winter collection, released in September of 2024. October saw the release of Holiday. So we got a Holiday kind of early, 2 months early before the holidays. This is the actual collection you should theoretically be wearing now, but we all wore it for fall. That had a few different things. Do you remember this? We had the Diamond Dust Illuminating Powder. Do you remember that? It was a really huge highlighter that a lot of people felt was far too glittery, but it was very, very pretty. It was just very glittery and kind of duochromatic and really big. Some people love those big palette releases and some don't. This was also the Enchanted Nights. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I think I turned a lot of people's opinions on this. This was an eyeshadow and blush, and I mixed them and made other shades with it in my video. A lot of makeup artists and such did it. It wasn't just my idea. I thought it was at the time. I gave myself far too much credit. Others were doing it as well. But I really enjoyed this. And a lot of my viewers who ended up purchasing this after my video on it said they have gotten tremendously good use out of it, including this shade here, which I just did a shade little comparison on Instagram. That's where I do those. And it really matches. You'll see one of the kind of bronzy shades in the newest, latest spring release, which has already come out. Okay, but that was holiday. Okay, then we go all the way to December. December saw a few things. We saw some re-releases and redos. The blushes are being redone at Chanel. Sometimes you get them, you know, it's talc and all sorts of things. And it was kind of a quiet redo. So like if you buy a Chanel blush now, I don't know whether you're getting the newly redone. I don't know whether you're getting the older formula. Kind of depends on where you're shopping. And it's not really being talked about. But what I did pick up, I didn't pick up any of the blushes. I wasn't sure where I was going and what formula I'd get, so I skipped that just in case. But I did review the redo of the Ultra Le Tint Velvet Foundation. I bought mine in a shade way too light, but bronzed up a little bit. It is gorgeous. It is a redo of a foundation that was a staple for Chanel forever, but that was re-released in December and is still readily available. Go get you some of that. Really pretty, but do get the right shade. I bought mine a little too light. That brings us up to another December release, and this was Spring 2025. Gets in this video because it was released in 2024, so it counts. I'm not really sure that we end up going, oh, hold this for spring. You know, I mean, for the most part, that's how we're going to wear it. And for spring, we got two Ombre Essentielle. We got Mauve, which is really lavender. And we got mint, or mint as they say, and it's really pretty. I've been doing so many comparisons because this I just reviewed the other day, and I've been doing so many comparisons. This is so different. Check out my Instagram if you want to see it. I compared it to, just every other green out there, and I did a lot of comparisons with different greens in the video because we've got so many kind of one and done green shades, and this is a really pretty one. It's not as pastel as I thought it was when I first got it out. It's got a lot of power to it, so I really recommend that you check that out. The other thing that came out was extra large palette. This is the one I was talking about that I did a comparison over on Instagram with. This is essentially a highlight palette just released in December for spring 2025, but you can put this on eyes. You can, depending on your skin shade, you can even bronze with it or contour. It's super pretty and it's all bronzy shades. I like it a lot, and I am using it on my entire face when I use it. Okay, the eyes as well. But you know, that came with eye shades, so in the video I didn't do it. But the other thing that we got in December for spring 2025 were the Rouge Coco Baum Shines, and I got in Cherry and Honey Bliss. And they are an absolute delight. These are comfy little balms. I just reviewed these. We've got a cherry shade here. It's pretty obvious which is cherry and which one is honey. Again, I will have a whole grouping of all my Chanel reviews. I just wanted this video not to be about swatching and reviews, but just about recapping all this. Did you remember? All of that was released from Chanel in 2024, even though some of this is for 2025. What do I think is their best releases? I definitely think the best Chanel releases, I do love these Rouge Coco Balm Shines. Very, very nice. But I think their best release was the cream to powder blushes. I loved the highlighter blush combo. I use those a lot, but the cream to powder, just stellar formula, just a wonderful formula. And in terms of packaging, this white lipstick packaging with the black lines is so striking and beautiful. I think it's the prettiest packaging. The worst release, I think, were those really glittery highlighters and the Baum Essentiel and the Mermaid. I think that was it's just very young. You know, and Chanel loves to go very young. You know, for those of us who wear it generally aren't 17, but Chanel has always wanted to court that customer and remain very youthful, and I don't blame them. I don't know that customer has the money or the mom to buy it for them, but you know what I'm saying. What of these did you purchase? And it's funny, when I did the Natasha Denona video, so many of you went, I'm ashamed to say I bought almost all of that, oh my God. And others of you went, wow, I didn't buy much Natasha Denona in 2024. So I'll be interested to hear your thoughts in terms of Chanel. How much of this did you buy and how much of this did you skip? It was a good year for Chanel, but it was a year in which we saw Chanel totally realize we're obsessed with them and totally realize that they want to do basically monthly releases, some of which are almost instantly forgettable and some of which were absolutely stellar. That dark eyeshadow palette from the beginning, it might have been at the end of 2023, but that's a real pretty one. I might have to pull that out for New Year's Eve. Really. Really pretty. And I hope they do more of these kind of weekend little getaway. I thought that was really fun. I know most people didn't want every product that was in there, but I think some of their limited edition stuff is actually really fun. And of course, I still have my snow globe up there. That's going to come down after the holidays, but I'm keeping it probably on my nightstand. I love Chanel. I think I will end with this. When someone comes to me and says, Rebecca, everything has failed me, and people do, I don't know what to buy. I need a foundation. I don't know what to buy. I need an eyeshadow. I don't know what to buy. I've tried this. I hated it. I've tried this. It went moldy. I've tried this. It went this. I tried this. It looked cakey. I send them to the Chanel counter. When in doubt, buy Chanel makeup. Rebecca, how do you dare you say that? It's so expensive. It is going to be less pricey than trying every $50, $40, $30 brand out there. Their makeup is certainly luxury, but it's not even Tom Ford pricing. It's steep, but you're going to buy a product. You're going to love that product. You're going to wear that product. So when people come to me confused, frustrated with makeup, I send them to a Chanel counter, and that's where the frustration stops. But perhaps you disagree. Talk to me down below about it. It's not just about me yapping. We're all about community here. So let me know what you think. Check on screen where I can for where to check these products out, where they're still available, and down below in the description bar. I do want to thank my sales associate, Nazi, at Fashion Island. She has helped me through so many of these purchases, and I love her. She's wonderful, as are all the folks over there. Also, check down below for how to follow me on Facebook, how to join our membership here, follow me on Threads, Instagram, TikTok. Give super thanks. Become a bigger part of this channel, and do make sure that you subscribe, as it's the kindest thing you can do for me. Like and share. Stay tuned for many, many new products, as well as our community Best of Beauty Awards. That's coming very soon. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. Happy, Happy, Happy Hanukkah to all who celebrate, and happy holidays for all those in between. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.